Climate Wisdom from COP30 Belém.
Come to our Climate Wisdom Studio live from COP30 in Belém in Brazil. We bring together experts from science, politics and spirituality to explore new solutions for the unfolding climate disaster. Myself, I'm Golo Pilz, and I will be tonight's moderator on conscious choices for a world in transition. Yesterday, the International Energy Agency published a latest report, and it seems renewable energies are unstoppable and growing faster than other major energy sources. Renewables prices are more than competitive, and the rise in low-carbon electricity is expected to seal the transition away from fossil fuels. This is the good news. Not such a good news is that in a recent interview, Professor Rockström of the Potsdam Climate Research Institute, one of the leading climate scientists, said that we have to capture at least 10 billion tons of CO2 every year from the air to limit global heating to 1.7 centigrade. This cost about $1 trillion per year and might even create other problems. This shows how late we are as a world community in our efforts to keep CO2 levels low. I'm glad to have two experts with me and hope we can shed some light on today's topic, wisdom for a world at crossroads. We have with us Vinícius de Paixão. I hope I pronounce it right. And you are the Program Director and Research Officer at the Integral Ecology Research Network, as well as an academic visitor at Champion Hall, University of Oxford. You are also a member of the Jesuit Order and integrate academic research, environmental ethics, and public policy. You hold a PhD in biological science and a master degree in cellular and structural biology. That sounds really complicated. And you're also a dedicated cellist player.
Thank you for that.
Probably another side of you. Welcome, Vinícius.
Welcome to. Thank you so much.
I'm also happy to welcome tonight Maureen Goodman with us. Maureen is our program director for the Brahma Kumaris in UK and the representative at the UN in Vienna. You have been to many UN conferences and have been a deep interest in spiritual and ethical dimensions of climate change. And you have been since many, many years involved also in the interfaith dialogue at UN conferences. Welcome, Maureen.
Thank you.
Very
And
well.
I do play an instrument, which I did.
It is never too late.
True.
You too.
This brings us to our first question. Vinícius, please share a bit about your work at Integral Ecology Research Network and what brings you to this climate conference.
Thank you for this. Thank you for the invitation, for the effort, for all this happen. Yes, our work in this institute, Integral College, it's a new concept to us. Unfortunately, too late. We need this concept and a little bit more. We had this work to try to connect science, ethics, and religious faith-based organizations to understand how we are speaking about the same thing using different approaches and to connect them and put them in dialogue. So one of our perspective is put this type of approaches in dialogue. Technically, we are speaking about the same thing using different language. That's our knowledge. That's how we really believe in this thing. And we have this institute there and trying to use good science, very good science, and improve we call this fragmentary paradigm. We had this, we are very good and to take the reality and separate in different boxes and work on that. And we forgot to take a look in the other box.
Yeah.
So our approach is how to help people to connect these boxes and trying to rebuild the reality of the sense of reality.
I think they're called universal scientists, you know. They were in the old days, often scientists were universal and
They were religious people also.
It's religious, and they tried to keep the overview, and they were experts in many fields.
Yes.
Yes, and for my surprise, of course, I'm saying this in a poetic way. For my surprise, but religions have this sense of the whole thing. Normally, we talk about the beginning, we talk about the creation. We have a lot of words to describe the whole thing, and after sometime in our reality of the paradigm of the technocratic paradigm, we have this expression to explain this. We have this problem to separate and forget. For example, right now we are talking here about energetic transition, but we need to talk about mining problems because it's clearly associated there. If you start using electric cars, you need battery, and battery need lithium. Lithium came from mining, and mining came from normally Brazil, Africa, and mining, unfortunately, now is not a good thing for local people.
So you're originating from Brazil,
I'm from Brazil.
and what brings you to COP then?
Sorry?
What brings you to the climate conference?
Yes, because right now, about this theme, I believe we don't have more space to have a very good dialogues like we're having here right now, and with good scientists, politicians, private organizations. COP is the best place right now in the world to start a very good dialogues and very honest and good dialogues.
Yeah, it's. I mean, today I was at the climate conference. It's almost a bit overwhelming. You know, the number of programs and workshops going on, and the number of people you see. You know, thanks very much for sharing. That's very interesting. Your approach also to bring science and spirituality together and create a holistic overview.
Thank you for this. That's the word. I don't like to use it in Portuguese, but in English, it's a very good word. Holistic overview. It's a very good word.
Maureen, you, the Brahma Kumaris emphasizes the caring for the earth begins with inner peace and pure thoughts. How can individuals translate this internal spiritual work into an effective climate action that may then also influences politics and even further the industry? It's a bit of a tricky question.
That's quite a question. But if I'm relating to the holistic overview, then there has to be the integration of the inner and the outer. And our thoughts, you talk about this term pure thoughts, our thoughts are actually our energy. And because our thoughts often get very distracted by what's happening around us or the past or concerns for the future, we actually dissipate a lot of energy. And then we lose our inner peace in the process. Peace is something that's natural to us. It's our original state of being as we were created. And thoughts are our energy to use in whatever way we do. And so thoughts have a power. So if I wish to have an influence on policymakers, on industry, and that would be through my motivation, then my values, then my actions, then the more clarity I have inside, the more peace I have inside, the more strength I will have and the courage I will have to actually align my action, my values and my actions with my conscience. And I think this is something that's very much missing in the holistic overview, that the conscience is sort of put to one side and other interests take over. And also, when we're thinking about the kind of policies that are needed, now, I mean, it was very good to hear you say at the beginning of this session that, renewables are now really on the rise and non-stop. But just actually today I was hearing about Bolivia and because fossil fuels had run out, there's been so much poverty and, really people in huge economic hardship. And now the new government is in a dilemma. Do they move to renewables, which would take time, or do they really look for more oil? Because the people need, a good economy right now. They're hardly getting enough to eat. So it's full of dilemmas. And so often we have to be bold, actually, and really have the courage to follow our conscience, to put forward those policies and not be persuaded otherwise. And it's not easy because there are so many pressures and so many different factors at work. And so our inner peace and our ability to use our thoughts in a good way, but that also brings a deeper motivation of care for our environment. And when there's care, and one, I've been hearing the word love in this COP more than any other COP, actually. And if things are motivated by love, well, it can literally move mountains, really. So the in and out is crucial.
What you love, you take care of.
Exactly. What you love, you take care.
Yeah, love would do very good in the COP, I would say so. I saw a lot of demonstrations today, and maybe we should do some love and peace demonstration, you know. Somehow I have to think how to do it.
Demonstration.
Yeah, silence would also do good. The sound level is quite amazing. Vinícius, that brings me to my second question. Our topic today is Wisdom for a World at Crossroads. It's quite interesting title. And you're also connected and promoting Laudatio Si, which has been postulated by the late Pope Francis. And then can you explain a bit more about Laudatio Si, its concepts, its idea, and also its impact so far into society?
Thank you for this. It's a very good question to us, and especially it's the name of the institute I'm taking part. We're now Laudatio Si Research Institute, and it's the, like you said, is the last, one of the biggest encyclical of the last Pope Francis. Francis is a Jesuit too, so or used to be. I need to use this. Still be my companion, but and in the center of this encyclical had this concept. Integral College, for example, born is the birthday's moment in the history, is this encyclical. And everything is interconnected. It's not just connected, it's interconnected. It's part of the nature of everything, be connected with other things. And it's a huge change if you think about how we construct the reality right now. For example, we don't have a social crisis and an environmental crisis. It's the same, it's two sides of the same crisis. Because, for example, everything we're talking right now, if you're talking about energetic transitions, who is the people who most are suffering right now about the climate changes? Normally we're talking about poor people or ancestral communities, indigenous. Here in Brazil, we have these people who used to live around the river, we call ribeirinhos. They are still suffering a lot. And when you start to take a look on that, on these people, on the culture, they are responsible for the most part of the conservation process. So we call them defenders of the forest. And they are suffering more than the others. So in this encyclical, this is that idea. We cannot take a look on just one side. It's very common to us in Western knowledge using this. Our problem right now is energy sources. Yes, energetic transition.
Energy source.
Energy sources, and it's easy to say that okay, you can just leave the fossil fuels and start another source, and it's not that. We need to pay attention to the entire process. If you start, like for example in Brazil, we have this happening right now. If you start to use the wind to produce sources, normally when they put the system to produce this energy, normally in poor areas. So you need to remove poor people first and put the system there. So why that? If you avoid these questions, we can start a process of trying to save the world of the environment, but killing especially poor people. So we cannot avoid these questions, and it's easy to Western knowledge forgot this normally.
So are you promoting Laudatio Si at the COP here also in any way?
Yes, we try hard. So normally putting together a social movement and scientists, and private companies, social movement, the state, especially justice, and the companies to dialogue because they need to see each other. Indigenous people need to see someone and ask them, why I'm doing with you? What happened here? What happened with you right now, with your community? Because if not, you see a spreadsheet with numbers and we take decisions after that. It's not, definitely it's not fair.
All right. Thanks very much for sharing. So I understand that Laudatio Si sees mostly the interconnectedness of everything, which is a very interesting concept. And of course, a little bit in contrast to our fragmented view of science and of the world, actually, at the moment. You know, we have a lot of specialists, but they often don't talk to each other.
Yes, but that's just one thing. It's very important. But now we need to connect them. It's another step, I believe.
Great that you're doing this work here at the COP, and I hope you have some good sessions and success. Also, bring different people from different strands on at the round table together.
Yeah, we're trying. Thank you so much.
Okay. Maureen, in the Brahma Kumaris, we nurture a beautiful vision of a better world. And we also have, interestingly, a cyclic concept of time. And how does that fit in our present situation? Where are we right now? And where are we going from here? A very interesting question.
Yeah, really. Where are we now? Where are we going? If we think about a vision, you know, a vision is very important, because if you don't have a vision of something, then what are you working towards and how can you be inspired? And so I think for everyone anyone who's working in the environmental field, to keep in mind the vision of a flourishing world where there is abundance is really important, because as you were saying, our thoughts are an energy and that actually contributes towards creating that world. A cyclic pattern, everything goes in cycles in nature, you know, when summer, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and so on. And if we were to look at our world in that way, in terms of a cyclic pattern, we know that we don't have to go back too far to see where the world really did have abundance for everybody, and there was enough for everybody to eat and to live well and so on. And of course, it's only in the last 200 years or whatever it is, when industry came in and, you know, and the specialization in that, of course, and we've begun to exploit. And so we've actually moved our world very quickly from the summer to the autumn. And I would say we're right in the winter, and in a very dark winter right now. But as with cycles, it's in that darkest winter that the new shoots are growing. And all the initiatives that are happening, and I'm going to be going to the vigil shortly, the prayers that are happening, the good thoughts and the inspiration that's going towards creating a better environment. I mean, if you want to have hope, you just need to listen to the things that people are saying in the COP and the initiatives that are happening. And so these are the shoots that are coming up. And so I am very convinced that the summer's going to come back again very soon.
That's a very lovely concept with the seasons, you know. And I'm reminded in Christianity, we have this concept of a paradise, which is supposed to come, you know. Yeah. And in India, most of the time in India, we have this concept of a new Satyuga, an age of truth, which is supposed to come after the Kali Yuga. And as per Indian tradition, we are right now in that age of Kali, where everything goes wrong, literally. So that's very interesting that even different religions, they match also quite often their visions for a future. And rightly you said we need a positive outlook and a positive vision that drives us and that gives us energy. Thanks very much for sharing. Vinícius, I have a bit more personal question now for you. You're a member of the Jesuits, and you're a person of faith. And science paints a quite drastic picture right now of the near future. I mean, if you read the reports, they don't look good, you know, and I mean, tipping points and whatnot, you know. And I know that I know the Jesuits, they're quite science-oriented, and you try to bring science into religion. So let us know how faith helps you to keep up hope and a positive vision.
Thank you for this. In fact, it's a very meaning question. Personally, I can share something. The first point is faith is the source of things. For example, I can say personally, but I can describe historically. For example, the most part of our science of philosophy starts with a very religious experience. If you go to Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, or even Galileo, these guys, after a religious experience, they change the world and they using science to try to take care of the reality. So science, it's a tool. Depends of what source you have to use this tool. In my case, I believe is the love. So if we need to love the world, that's the view of especially the Christian one, Catholic, and especially for the Jesuits, because our founder, Ignatius of Loyola, have this, the reality is good, the world is good, you need to believe that. And it's impossible, for example, come to here and take a look on all these things happen, the biodiversity, the forest, and not believe that. So I believe we have hope. Science, sometimes it's annoying because science like just to talk about reality, and hope is not be optimistic. Hope is that you need to believe we'll have a good way. Something good is happening sooner or late. I hope soon. But yes.
Help from above.
Yes. And we have a lot. It's beautiful because religion gives us this. Science cannot give us some utopia, a place to go. Science cannot help our imagination, but religious can do that. Faith is there. It's very connected. I can see a heaven. I can see a paradise. Science cannot show me that, unfortunately. But it's a good tool to understand the reality and the gap we need to surpass to find this place. I hope for everyone, for the environment, every single creature.
Are you practicing meditation or prayers also regular in the Jesuit order?
Yes. Normally we have this process. When we became a Jesuit, we have some rules more to help us to take advantage of this time, of this identity. Normally we need to pray around 1 hour per day.
Okay.
And we have this process, we call this, we have this meditatio and contemplatio. It's use your imagination. For example, I'm suspicious because I really like this. And I decided to become a Jesuit after a long time praying. And for example, one day meditations, it's trying to imagine how you be walk with Jesus and visit the same place, talk with that people, and pay attention on your feelings. And trying and after to understand the feeling, reflect about that. So that's of course, it's a very terrible reason, but it's
very nice.
It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, but yes, I'm suspicious because I really like that. I really believe that and changed my life a lot. and yes, so it's helped us to be connected and the sources. And after the meditation of the prayer, it's impossible to not believe, okay, the creation is good and the reality is good. We have how to do that.
We have an experience, and experience usually has a quite good authority. Yeah. Thanks very much for sharing your.
This is so much part of this info.
So these have been great inspirations for the conference and hopefully also for you, our listeners. And as we're coming close to the end of this session, I would like Maureen to guide us in a short meditation, and maybe you can walk us to paradise, to a beautiful world.
Okay. So let us just let our thoughts be quiet and calm and step out of the usual whirling of thoughts of the past and the future and just be present so that we can experience our inner state of peace. We are in fact experiencing the truth of who we really are. I am a being of peace. And from this awareness, my thoughts become powerful and strong. So let me step out of this current reality for a few moments. The reality of the winter that is here. And see the spring that is emerging. Let us keep in front of us the vision of a world where we are all connected, where we live in harmony, where we live with respect, with care, with compassion. A world that is free from suffering. The world that the divine is creating for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Maureen. That was a very lovely meditation. I really could feel how the atmosphere was changing towards a very beautiful future. And this brings us to the end of our little panel discussion, our little session here. Thanks a lot to our speakers, Vinícius and Maureen, for coming and sharing your insights. And I hope also you, our viewers, have been inspired and understand one or the other aspect a bit better. Thanks also to our patrons and sponsors and volunteers all around the world who make this Climate Wisdom Studio possible. And please join us tomorrow at the same time for another interesting session of Climate Wisdom. And tomorrow early morning, Brazilian time, we also have an interview with Cristiana Figueiras, the former head of the UNFCCC, which was the architect of the Paris Agreement. That will be also very interesting. So please visit our webpage at echo.brahmakumaris.org/live. Last but not least, thanks to all of you for tuning in, for staying with us, and to our global audience. You can also stay tuned in, and we play a short video, and in a couple of minutes we will have part 2 of tonight's session. Goodbye and see you soon from Belém. Hello, welcome and greetings from the climate conference in Belém. And we are right in front of the main entrance, and Brahma Kumaris is represented here with a team of almost 15 people. And inside the climate conference, the negotiations have started 2 days ago. And there's a huge agenda, almost 140 topics, ranging from financing to the national determined contributions and the promises of the countries to curb climate change. We are here in the middle of the Amazon, and the Amazon are also called the green lungs of the world. And the Amazon is dying right now in front of our eyes. Scientists estimate that almost 40% of the Amazon are either cut or have been seriously deteriorated, and urgent action is needed to preserve the Amazon and preserve the world climate and the future of humanity. That's why the Brahma Kumaris is here, and we are almost going since the last 15 years to all climate conferences since Copenhagen 2009. And we have an exhibition inside the climate conference. We have many programs, press conferences, and our sister Maureen is also here, very active in the field of interfaith and Talanoa dialogue. And a couple of days, Sister Genti will come, and they will have programs inside the COP, press conference inside the COP. And they're trying to inform people about lifestyle change, about changing the mindset, to be in harmony with the self and be in harmony with nature. Have a vegetarian or plant-based diet, use renewable energy wherever possible, and look into your personal lifestyle how can I live in harmony with nature, with the environment? And we believe meditation is a very powerful tool and helps us to get these lifestyle changes implemented, to get this change in mindset implemented. And that's why we are here, and we hope our presence makes a difference and we can send good vibrations and thus also help to bring science and spirituality together. Thanks very much, and Om Shanti.